Color Wow, New York City.
These are so good.
If you follow social media, I'm sure you've already seen the buzz and the excitement and everything kind of surrounding, the Curl Wow launch. In true kind of Color Wow fashion, we don't do things by halves. It's big, it's massive. You're going to be seeing and hearing about it everywhere. It's going to be a huge kind of movement in the, for curly hair. We're really going to kind of change the game.
My name is Dr. Joe Cincotta. I am the chief chemist at Color Wow. Color Wow is a Federici brand, and I've been working with Gail Federici, who's the owner of our company, over 30 years now, with the highly successful John Frieda company back in the 90s, developing the whole Frizzies line and the Sheer Blonde line and several other lines like a Beach Blonde with small parts of the Sheer Blonde line. And of course, after she sold the company, after her little vacation from that company, she started the Color Wow company. And we basically have the same philosophy. Find the problems or find the white space, the places in the industry, in the hair care industry that aren't being addressed properly, like root cover up, and I'll talk about that in a second, and then find the solutions to those problems using innovative technology to solve those problems. So again, we're a problem solution type of company before, and we just continue that into our new company. And that's today, we're launching all new science in our Curl Wow product. You'll see the new science that we've developed for curls.
At Color Wow, we're really famous for doing kind of two things the way we develop products. A little bit like Dr. Joe said, we either do something brand new, a brand new category, something that's going to completely change the game for hairdressers, something like the root cover up, the dream coat, these kind of magnificent game-changing products. And Gail's been famous for that throughout her whole career, having made the first products ever for frizzy hair back in the day, and the first products for blonde hair, you ever saw, back in the day. Or finding a category where there can be a kind of major improvement. And when it came to curly hair, we were doing a lot of research, and we noticed that I think the things that people were really struggling with, as far as curly hair goes, was the hair was getting crunchy, it was getting stiff, it was getting sticky, it was getting greasy, it was getting heavy. So Gail really set about working, with Dr. Joe and myself and our kind of team of, testers throughout the country, kind of crack this major problem. Because as you know, if Gail can't do it better, if we can't make a major improvement in what's already there, we won't do it at all. So it's this kind of exciting, journey we've been on with curl. We've been working on it for over 2.5 years now. So we're going to let Joe just talk about the proprietary kind of ingredients in just a second. But I do want to introduce our very special guest, who we're actually going to hear from as we go through the products, but then definitely kind of right at the end of the presentation. So here's Kendall. We are just, as a team, just so honored to have, Kendall as part of our, as our Curl Wow kind of ambassador. As you can see from that sizzle, his work is phenomenal. I mean, I was honored to be able to work, next to him just the other day. Kendall, I wouldn't mind if you would just give, the guys watching just a little background of yourself, just a super quick kind of bio, and then we get right into the products.
Hello, everyone. I am Kendall Dorsey, celebrity hairstylist, global ambassador for Curl Wow. A little bit about me. I've been in the industry for about maybe 15 years as a hairstylist and about 8 years on the editorial celebrity side. For me as an artist, being as a brown boy and having textured hair, it was a great partnership I felt that Color Wow developed with Curl Wow Wow. And I partnered with them because of, my background as textured hair, my background with Borbet hair care. A few things that I've really, really loved with this brand is that they're bringing a new naked technology. Because of the Profaxil-18 and the distribution of breaking down the ingredients to be able to penetrate deep into the hair, it is a whole different technology. It's a whole different world for curly hair. The hydration level has changed the game, the movement, the texture. It's just really, really a livable curl, and I absolutely love it. So I'm actually honored to be a part of this brand, and we're just going to keep making magic.
That's right. Awesome. I love it. Perfect. So I'm going to let Joe now just explain this really fascinating new kind of major breakthrough when it comes to really targeting this curly hair. And then we'll talk about each of the products kind of individually.
We're talking about our new science behind the Curl Wow products. And the science, as Kendall just mentioned, contains this Profaxil-18 complex. So really, up until now, curl products or curl regimes layered oil, butters, styling resins on the hair, leaving the hair looking and feeling coated or greasy or stiff. So it was our mission to create perfectly bundled curls while leaving the hair looking and feeling like there's nothing on it. And that's why we call the technology behind this, as Kendall said, naked technology. So to accomplish this, we had to create a totally new delivery system in our Curl Wow formulas, which delivers moisture and styling to the curls in a whole new way. And the key breakthrough in our new system was this Profaxil-18 complex. All right, so now let me give you a little background first. One of the biggest complaints I heard from all our coily textured hair models that we used in our testing was that my hair needs moisture. It's dry. It needs moisture, 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 moisture. And the reason why this type of hair, coily, curly, textured hair is dry is because the sebum that is excreted by the follicles from what they call the sebaceous glands within the follicles cannot travel down the hair shaft because of all the twists and turns in the strands. All right. So basically, these textured hair women aren't getting that natural oil to travel down their hair like a straight haired woman would have. And therefore, the hair always seems to feel dry, seems to, require more and more moisturizing agents. So it was essential. Curl products have all these oils and emollients in them. But the problem with just adding oils and emollients to the typical curl products that are out there is that the oil tends to come together and form large droplets. And when it's large droplets, it'll tend to sit or pool up on the surface of the hair, especially hair that's curled or twisted and have bends in it. Basically, that oil is just sitting on the surface of the hair, making the hair, in some cases, look greasy and look coated. What our Profaxil-18 complex does is it actually breaks down our moisturizing oils, the ones that are in our Curl Wow products, so that they could be what is called micro-dispersed. So instead of having big pools of oil, we've dispersed it in microscopic droplets. All right. So these droplets could really penetrate the entire hair shaft and not just lay on or pool up on the surface as traditional curl products do. So these micro-dispersed moisturizers that we have in our products quickly can penetrate through the surface of the hair into the hair shaft, lubricating the protein chains. Right? The protein chains in the hair are responsible for its elasticity, its strength, and its flexibility. So if those protein chains aren't lubricated, the hair is stiff, the hair is unmanageable, it won't form nice bundled curls. But because we can get our moisturizers in there, we could lubricate those chains and get optimum mobility, flexibility, and fluidity in our Curl Wow products. In addition, our Profaxil-18 complex contains what's called a lipid. A lipid is a fatty type material. Now, the particular lipid we're using is called 18-methyl-eicosanoic acid. We call it 18-MEA for short. And this is actually the natural lipid layer that's found on healthy virgin hair. And it gives hair its lubricity, its shine, and its moisture resistance. Now, if you lose that layer, of course, your hair becomes porous and dry and unmanageable. This lipid, 18-MEA, is really important because as our moisturizers, as I just said, are penetrating into the the surface of the hair into the cortex or the middle of the hair, this 18-MEA, this lipid, actually rises to the surface of each strand, forming a tight, transparent sheath. So this microscopic sheath basically traps in the moisturizers beneath it and creates a smooth, glossy surface that looks natural and feels dry, not greasy, to the touch. So, people have asked me, how do you visualize this? How can I visualize what you just told me, Dr. Joe? And I keep thinking, what can I use as a natural example of this? And if you think about pudding, chocolate pudding, vanilla pudding, whatever you like, when you make it, you heat up the milk, you add the pudding mix, you stir it till it thickens, you pour it in a cup, and then you let it cool. And what happens, after it cools down is a pudding skin forms on top of it. And if you touch that pudding skin, it feels dry to the touch, right? It's smooth, it's glossy, but it feels dry to the touch. But if you break that skin with a spoon, when you go eat it, there's the rich, moist pudding underneath it. Well, that's exactly what the 18-MEA is doing. It's creating that sheath that's giving you a glossy, smooth surface that's dry to the touch. So your hair will never be greasy using our Curl Wow products. And it'll also help, like I say, disperse those oils to get into the hair, which is really important and really a big problem for curly, coily, textured hair. So there's 5 products in the line, all right? 4 of them contain the Profaxil-18 complex, but each formula was developed to address the different issues that textured hair women encounter.
Well, actually, a few of my clients, my celebrity clients I work with, which is Alicia Keys and Kelly Rowland and Sweetie, I've used it on, and listen, Yara's curls are a true testament to exactly what it does. It creates that, it's like that pudding. And I've used it on her hair. And the second time I used it, she's like, Kendall, you're using something different. And I was like, do you know what? She was like, my hair feels incredible. And then it is exactly that. The Profaxil-18 really allows the hair to micro disperse the ingredients. So it really breaks down those oils and penetrates deep into the hair shaft. And for me as an artist, that's really important for me because, I do red carpets, I do photo shoots, I do everyday women. And the main concern is that my hair feels dry, or the second day it's not where it should be. But with this product, it allows you to have that second day hair almost instantly that we absolutely love because it's dry to the touch, because it's floaty and it's billowy and it's soft. It really has a flexible, what I like to use an example is a child's hair. Like if you think of a child that goes to the beach and she's just running and she's just careless and everybody's like, oh my goodness, I love that hair right there. That's how I envision it. That's how I feel it. That's what it does for me. And it's really an incredible product. It's really a technology that's going to really change the game once people get familiarized with it and how to understand how to disperse the product, how to really, apply the products and really get familiar with their curls on a different level. I feel that it would be a game changer.
So this is the lineup. It's just 5 products, very, very simple, but we'll cover a huge kind of cross section of curls. And for those of you that are more of an expert, Kendall can talk in a little more detail about the actual, the different types of curls, because I know if you are dealing with specialized kind of curly hair salons, they will kind of be asking those questions. The first product, so this is called Snag Free, okay? So something that you will notice if you do have very kind of coarse, kind of curly hair, when you try and wash your hair, it kind of bunches together. It kind of mats together quite quickly. So we were looking at a way, and that actually prevents you sometimes getting the hair really clean, especially kind of at the back where you really want to kind of get that hair nice and clean. So Dr. Joe was looking at ways that you could actually help to kind of give the hair some lubricity as you're actually washing it to help you get a kind of a proper clean.
Snag Free is a pre-shampoo detangler, right? There are 2 oils in Snag Free. Procachi oil, which is a Brazilian oil. Now, everybody knows down in Brazil, you have every texture hair you could imagine compared to even the US. So Brazilian oils are going to run through many of the Curl Wow products. With this particular one, we use this Procachi oil along with coconut oil. And of course, this product also contains our Profaxil-18 complex, which is going to break down these oils, like I told you before, into a micro-dispersion. So they basically can lubricate the surface of the hair at this point. All right. So these lubricating oils and some detangling or slip enhancing polymers are in this. There's no waxes in it. There's nothing that's going to stay behind and leave a waxy buildup on your hair. So the lubricating oils, these slip enhancing polymers are in there, basically to prep the hair before you shampoo, so that when you shampooing, it eliminates the tangles, the mattedness that could happen. Because like I say, coily, curly hair, they'll start to, get tangled up together during shampooing. And that was one of the problems we noted when we talked to the curly haired, women, is that their hair can easily get tangled up during the shampoo process. So by having the pre-shampoo detangler, it actually eliminates the need for these co-washes that everybody recommends, because now you pre-detangle your hair, you wash it out with the shampoo, and you don't have those tangles that will create breakage and create very difficult, combing after the shampoo process.
If anybody is familiar with hair styling or has color treated hair, if you notice that when you have blonde bleached hair, it really intertwines on the ends of the hair and it interlocks. Well, that happens with coily, curly, wavy textured hair, especially if it's color treated or if the hydration is not at the level that it needs to be at. So the pre-shampoo is really about just adding that slip. It really allows you to really get prepared for the Profaxil-18 to really break those ingredients down into the hair shaft. So you would use it like a quarter size in your roots, on your hair, on dry hair, and then you go right into shampooing your hair. You're going right into shampooing your hair, and when you shampoo your hair, then you can really feel the slip. You can really feel the micro ingredients breaking down into the hair shaft. And like the Profaxil-18, it really goes from roots to tips, so you're really able to feel the hydration. And over time, I look at it like going to the gym. The integrity of the cuticle begins to build. It rebuilds itself. The structure is really hydrated, and just like anything else, you take care of it over time, it becomes better.
And another way you can use it, what we would recommend is just wet the hair down, then put the Snag 3 through, but then give a very light rinse. So you don't really want to rinse a lot of it out and then start washing. And that's what's going to help kind of give you some of that kind of lubrication there.
Right.
And then
another thing I would like to piggyback is that also don't get it confused when you use the pre-shampoo that you're going to feel the hydration instantly. It's really a pair with the shampoo so that you can then feel the slip and feel that everything, all the properties working with each other. It is definitely a pair. It's not something that you want to use alone and expect your hair to feel pillow soft.
This is 100% a system. It should be sold as a system, used as a system.
If you go to drugstores, you often see that a lot of the products over the counter have beeswax in them. They use beeswax to extend the life of the product, to expand the shelf life, and to expand the amount of product that goes into it. So oftentimes when I was in the hair salon as a curly hair expert, I would hear women say, my roots get so greasy, or my roots get so flat. And then you ask the question, well, what are you using? And if it's over the counter, those are some of the things that happen because of the ingredients are not at the highest performance level. So I look at this product as very much so as a performance product, and it does exactly what it says it's going to do. So like the pre-shampoo is going to really lift that root up, allow you to get the root lift that you're looking for, so that your curls give you the shape that you want, or you don't have that flatness if you have really, really fine hair. So these are some of the things that are really, really important to you guys as you guys are learning this product, to understand the benefits of why would be important to your regime.
After that, we have our shampoo, which is called Hooked. Okay. And I'm already getting questions because we've for so many years talked about why you only need one shampoo. So, but we do understand this is a curly hair system for curly hair. So when Joe was looking at this hair texture and how can we improve on our shampoo specifically for this hair texture, he came up with this kind of awesome ingredient that's been added to this shampoo. And I'll let you kind of explain it, Joe, but it's still our traditional, clean, doesn't leave anything behind. Shampoo gets a beautiful, gentle cleanse on the hair, which is what you want. It won't raise the cuticle in any way, which is important with curly hair.
As Giles just said, our Hook shampoo goes along with the technology that's in our Color Security shampoo. Clean technology, clean. And when I say clean, I mean we want to cleanse the hair as well as cleanse the scalp. And that was the residue-free technology found in our Color Wow shampoo. We extended that into the Hooked shampoo for curls. The only difference is we added a material that's a blend of 3 natural ingredients, and it's called Profaxil. And basically what Profaxil, they're small molecules. They're not waxes, they're not polymers, they're not conditioners. They're small, what we call active molecules that penetrate into the follicle and help lock the hair fiber into, or anchor the hair fiber into the follicle. For those of people who are experiencing shedding due to, the fact that they pull their hair back or they braid their hair, it actually helps prevent shedding due to the stresses that are put on curly hair, especially, like I said, that's pulled back tight or braided. This product does not contain the Profaxil-18 complex because we're not leaving anything behind. Residue-free technology. What we want to do is get that hair clean, get that scalp clean for healthy hair. Healthy hair grows from healthy scalp. And the way to get healthy scalp is to make sure you're cleaning not only your hair, but your scalp with our sulfate-free technology, our residue-free technology. Now with the added benefit of this root lock from the Procapill to anchor those roots in the head so you minimize or prevent shedding.
One of the most important benefits of the shampoo is the root lock. I think that, as Joe just said, oftentimes we layer so many moisturizers on our hair, the butters, the gels, the creams, the oils, and we forget that it should be residue free when you shampoo. So almost like a slight clarifying of the scalp, which is very important because the sebum will build up, it will trap in, and then we're wondering why our curls are not mobile or they're not dry to the touch. They don't have that flexible, bouncy feel that we're looking for. And so I think the shampoo, again, is another added benefit to progressively where we're going towards the few other products.
Again, it's just part of that incredible system. And then we have our kind of conditioner, but I call it it's more like a mask almost. This is
definitely a mask.
Yeah, it's definitely a mask. And it's gorgeous. Smells absolutely phenomenal as well, which is kind of an added bonus.
I like to use that as a styler sometimes. I know I'm breaking the rules. So like a self-care Sunday and you want to really, really hydrate your hair, I leave it on for a few hours and then rinse later that evening, and it's really, really super, super soft. I'm not saying to sleep with it, saying for a few hours, it really gives a beautiful curl and a nice hydration once it's rinsed off with cool water, locking that moisture in.
In regard to the Cocoa Motion lubricating conditioner, again, moisture, lubrication. This is where it starts, right? We just clean the hair. It's clean. It's a perfect place now to start working inside the hair, because the hair surface is clean. It's not bogged down with oils and polymers and conditioning agents at this point. So this is the point in the regime where you want to get as much lubricating oil inside the hair. And as I said before, when I introduced the Profaxil, is why do we want to get these lubricating oils or moisturizing oils in the hair? Is to make the hair more flexible, more elastic, to have more mobility and fluidity. And the only way to do that is to get the lubricating oils into the hair. This particular product, Cocoa Motion, contains, again, coconut oil and another tropical oil called marula oil. And these oils, in conjunction with the Profaxil-18 complex, are, again, micro-dispersed, made into small particles so they can penetrate deep into the curls to reactivate those protein chains, to make them more flexible and leaving your hair more manageable. All right. So basically, this is a step where we want to penetrate into the hair. The hair's clean. Let's penetrate into the hair, not have anything interfering with that penetration. And of course, this is a rinse out conditioner. So you can leave it on for 3-5 minutes and then rinse it out and proceed to the next product.
When you are putting this conditioner in, I like to work from the ends up to the roots. And then I like to use actual wet brush, whether depending on your hair density, length, or texture. I think a wet brush is very, very important. Really gently getting those ends from the ends to the roots, because as the motion of brushing that hair is really penetrating that hydration deeper and deeper into the cuticle layer. And it allows it to really, really, like, again, keep that cuticle nice and closed so that you have the shine, you have the moisture, and that you have the control once you rinse everything off of the hair. So that's just a quick pro tip. Really, really making sure that you're brushing the conditioner through, taking your time, putting it into subsections of 4 to 6, maybe 8 or 9, depending on the length, texture, or density. And then when you're rinsing, really giving a cool rinse, taking your time and rinsing the hair with purpose so that you can really feel the shine, that you can really feel the softness of the hair. And then moving right into the styling, you will feel exactly what the conditioner does to it. It really has slip. It really has a hydration. It just isn't the conditioner is really the holy grail to really setting everything up for a soft, pillow touch, billowy soft hair.
And then we get into some magic. Okay, so we have 2 stylers. We've got the Proprietary and the Shook. There is, again, it's a system in the way you use them. You can use them individually, but we do recommend kind of you use them together. But again, Kendall will give you kind of his, take on that once we kind of describe kind of the technology in them. I just want to tell one really quick story. because the way we test products, I know those of you that know me, that have worked with me, you know, I love to talk about the way we test products at Color Wow, the level that Gail just drives us to, like perfection. The buck stops at Gail, and there was one time, right, 2.5 years we tested these products, and it wasn't just me, it was like our whole team testing them. And right through COVID, I was getting sent the products and testing the products and getting them. And we really thought we were getting close. And then COVID ended and everything opened up. So we came back to the office and we would test, and our teams would test all over the country. And we finally felt that we had the holy grail. This is it. This is the product. This is the way it works. And we loved it. So we got one of our toughest models in. Her name was Danielle. And we styled her hair for Gail to see. And we really thought this was it, And I remember myself, Joe, and Linda, we took Danielle down to Gail, and we thought, wow, we finally cracked it after 2.5 years. This is great. Gail is going to be so impressed. And I remember we went into Gail's office, and Gail, she just looked at Danielle's hair and she touched it and she felt it. And you've got that like moment of silence. And she said, no. She said, this is a great formula, but she said, this is not an exceptional formula. She said, this is not quite changing the game yet. She said, you got to go back. And so we went back, and there was a few more tweaks from Joe. And sometimes it's just small little tweaks of ingredients and the levels of ingredients. But that's what Gail, she will not stop until you have perfection. And I remember then we went back and we retested, and the team retested, and we finally got there. And the results, when you see this work, and I'm sure Kendall will attest to this, the results are absolutely insane. Like, it's really magical.
There are no silicone. There's, typically when people look for silicones in formulas, and curly head people are especially sensitive to told to stay away from like dimethicone, amodimethicone. None of those ingredients are in these products. We thought long and hard and said, because of what's out there right now and on the internet and curly girl methods and this and that, we decided to stay away from those heavy type silicones that we're constantly being told that they're bad for curly hair. So no silicones that will leave weight or build up on your hair in these products. All right, so the next product in line. All right, so really the first 3 products were all about preparing the hair, really. And Cocoa Motion starts the treatment, right? Where you're getting inside the hair. Now we're going to work not only on the inside with our Floetry, but also start to, remember, we want to put a micro dispersion of oils on the surface as well. Because again, the sebum is not traveling down that curly hair or traveling through that curly hair. So we need to get the moisturizing oils spread evenly in a micro dispersion on the surface, and get that Profaxil-18, that 18 MEA that I talked about, get that on the surface too. So it can eventually, as we dry the hair, raise to the surface and create that, transparent sheath that will hold all that moisture in. Floetry contains 3 oils. Now, jojoba oil, very light oil, pequi oil, again, a Brazilian oil, very light, and of course, coconut oil, which actually there's been many papers written about coconut oil as being one of the best oils for coily, curly hair. But again, it has to be micro dispersed, and that's where other products can't compete with our Curl Wow products. But basically, so we're starting to replace that natural sebum, as well as still penetrating oils into the hair, but now we're trying to replace that natural sebum that curly, coily, textured hair is missing. So this is the first step in now the outside of the hair, the surface of the hair, as well as the interior, continuing what the Cocoa Motion was doing. But now we're focusing more on the outside of the hair that needs to feel soft, feel moisturized. This is where, you're going to get that moisturized, glossy finish on the hair. And again, we don't want any greasiness. We don't want any coating. We don't want any weight. So that's why the oils have to be micro dispersed. So that it feels like there's nothing on your hair when you finally dry that hair.
Over the years, people have gone to YouTube and so many other avenues to figure out their curly texture, because we were so not educated on what to do and how to build it. So people went to the kitchen and used olive oil and coconut oils. And over time, like if you have color treated hair, you go to the sun, you could be in New York City and it's 100 degrees. The coconut oil is going to cook the hair, because that's what it's designed to do. So these products are really broken down in a way to really penetrate deep into the cuticle. And because this is a naked technology and the Profaxil-18 is such a big component to breaking down the ingredients, the parabens and the sulfates and all that stuff is just a no-go for this whole particular idea of what we're presenting to the world, because people have been so confused about why their curls are suffering in such a way and not understanding that they're thinking they're doing all of the right things. And that's why this is so important, because the technology is changing. So I feel that, again, dry to the touch, is people maybe get confused if they say dry, the keyword dry for curls is like a bad word, but dry to the touch meaning you get that mobility and the flexibility in the curls, and you can really feel your hair moving when the wind goes. And it's not like a big clump of oil sitting there and a big, huge lob of hair. It's really movement and flexibility and mobility in the curls because of the technology, the naked technology. So to the audience, there is no parabens, there's no sulfates, there's nothing that's going to be terrible into this. It's really kitchen ingredients that's broken down in a way with technology to really serve a purpose to heal the hair from internally inside to out. Isabella, she had really fine color treated hair. So I think, a little of, because it's definitely a very concentrated product, a little goes a long way in certain hair textures. Now, if you have a really, really high density amount of hair, you really want to break that product down and subsection your hair and get 1 to 2 pumps, 3 to 4 sprays on each of those sections. And really, I like to brush the product through for my subsections and then manipulate with my hands, because you really break the product down. It really penetrates to all of the curls, and you really get those bundles of curls if you spend the time that you need on the actual curl.
And then after the Floetry, it's called Shook. Now, this is something we're going to show you, actually. A couple of things here with Shook, just because I know when you start to kind of sell this in, people are going to ask you, Joe, do you want to show them your version of Shook that you have there? And I'll just explain.
Typically, when you look at Shook, can you see it? Can everyone see it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Notice there's a purple oil layer on top, and then there's a pale bluish green water layer on the bottom. Of course, oils, hemisqualane, jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, passion flower oil, rice bran oil, all light oils. Again, now we're worried we're going to treat the surface of the hair, because we do need oils. Remember, I told you, there's no natural oils that are wicking down the hair or traveling down the curly, coily, textured hair. So we have our oil phase to replace that sebum that's missing, but we also have our styling phase, which is the water phase underneath. So you could see the distinction between, so you could actually see the oil and see the water phase that's going to have hydrating ingredients and styling polymers. But the styling polymers we used were not the hard acrylic type styling polymers. All right. So we used very flexible, bendable type hold polymers that are not going to create crunchy hair. So what we tell you to do with this is shake it up. And when you shake it up, it forms basically one phase where the oil and water temporarily come together. And that's when you spray it on your hair. So every once in a while, if you're taking a long time to use it, you should just give it a nice little shake. You don't have to be gentle with it. Give it a shake, because you want that oil and water just to be homogeneous from top to bottom. So you get both the oil and the styling phase together. And the beauty of when you mix oil with styling polymers, and I'm going to use a big word here, it actually plasticizes the styling polymers, making them even more flexible. So you don't, again, get crunchy, brittle type of curls. There's no stiffness to them. Sometimes people call it a cast. There's no cast left on your hair. No crunchiness, no stiffness, no cast on the hair that basically if you touch it, it feels like it's glued. All the hairs are glued together. So now we can get perfectly defined bundles of curls with the hold, very flexible hold, with the moisturization from the oils, and of course with that Profaxil-18 complex, again, in the Shook, that's going to provide that transparent sheath to hold the moisture in to make the bundles of hair look natural, but feel dry, never greasy to the touch.
That's where the flexibility comes in with that product. When you're using Shook, you can use it on second day hair. I like to use it on second day hair. You can use it on first day hair. But the thing about the combination of the oils and the hydration mixing together and then dry to the touch, that's what gives you that childlike curl, like the curl that has just naturally dried on its own and is so beautiful. She's been in the sun. She has those natural blonde highlights, and she just has this beautiful, beautiful texture. That's what I think of when I think of these products. It's just a flow. We were on the photo shoot, and Gail was like, change the hair this and pull it this way and pull it that way. And the curls literally just sprung back to place. They come back to place and they get better. To me, the roots wake up, you get a little texture. It becomes a really good mood.
No, and I saw you, tackle Lizette's hair at our press launch just the other day, and I love the way you revamped her second day hair with this and the way you put it on each section. So as a second day kind of restyler, I think that's a really kind of cool thing. A point I did want to make is once you shook, once the two phases have blended, it will not go back to that beautiful, clean purple and blue. It will, some of the phases will stay kind of blended. So it will look a little bit more like this. This one's been traveled. So it's completely normal and natural. It is only to be sold as a system. It is not to be kind of piecemealed in, or one piece here, one piece there. It is a system. It's sold in as a system. It's represented in salons, you know, as a system. It's very, very important that the results that I've been getting from it. And when we do test, we literally test on the hardest hair possible, the hardest hair we can find, the hardest models we can find, just to know that this delivers on all different kind of curl textures. And like I said, our whole team across the country. So we really genuinely think we have got something here that is going to be absolutely huge, completely like change this category. And it's so wonderful to hear from, you know, Kendall, how, you know, he talks about the product and, you know, being such kind of a curly hair expert. It really is massive. Is there any texture that would not need to use the Snag free? Is there any benefits for people that just have a wave?
Well, I think the benefit for using the Snag free is really prepping the hair. It's really about the preparation. So I think of it as skincare. You know, you have a few steps that are really, everything needs to be done. And I feel that all textures need the prep to really break down the moisture, to allow the hair to not be detangled. And then moving into the shampoo, allowing it to, you know, wash that hair and get nice and clean and lift their root. So I feel like it's just like skincare. You cleanse, you hydrate, you plump. Exactly. So the system is, I think, it's beneficial. I think for wavy hair is a part of the family of texture. So yes, I feel that wavy hair is a great benefit. I mean, it would be a great candidate for this product, especially for, you know, the entire system, the pre-shampoo, the shampoo, the shook, and maybe the Floetry. You can even go between the shook and the Floetry on wavy hair, depending on how tight your density is, or how thick it is, or how long it is. Yeah, it's a candidate for all textures in the texture family. If anybody has any questions, my Instagram is Kendall Dorsey1 on Instagram. I'm always open to answer questions. It's a new way of thinking about wavy, curly, textured, coiled hair. It's really, really innovative as far as Profaxil-18, breaking down the micro ingredients, getting those oils into the hair shaft. The oils that were chosen for this product is really, really phenomenal. It's for building, plumping, healing, hydrating. If you have dense hair, use a little bit more air on more of you, using more. If you have fine hair, air on using a lighter bit. But playing with it, see how your hair air dries versus diffusing it. See how it does in the sun versus cooler weather. Then you'll understand what dry to the touch means. You'll see the mobility. People will then start to compliment you on your texture and ask you about it. And you'll feel that non-greasy, weightless touch. So those are the things I have to say about it. I really, really love the product. I've been working with it for some time now with my clients and on my hair. And as you can see, I just got out of the shower not too long ago and have a great shine. But when it dries, it really does dry as a very soft, supple pillow touch hair. People always compliment me on my curls. I have bundles.
Yeah. There are a lot of products out there. There's a lot of curl products out there. Over 2.5 years. And when I say relentless, I mean it in a good way, of relentless testing and being knocked back, trying to crack this code. So over 2.5 years, because I do see other companies just suddenly be like, oh, they put the same gimmicky ingredients in and they're like, oh, we just need a curl line. So suddenly out of nowhere, a curl line appears. But just know the dedication and the work that we've put into this, because if Gail doesn't think she can change the game with products, she will not make them. And we truly believe that this.
And she's honest. She will tell you. She'll tell you exactly how she feels. Kendall, I love it. Oh, Kendall, we don't love this. Kendall, change this. Oh, this is perfect. So she put a lot of work into this product line, and it really does show.
Thank you, Kendall, and thank you, Dr. Joe. That was an awesome session.